We all need it, sleep. But for so many of us, a truly great night's sleep can feel like a total myth. But here's the thing. The solution isn't one size fits all because our brains are all wired a little differently. So today, let's dive in and figure out how to work with our brains, not against them, to get the rest we actually need.
Okay, first things first. Take a look at this chart. Find your age group. Now be honest. How do your last few nights stack up against what the experts recommend? Yeah, for a lot of us, there's a pretty big gap between the should and the is. And that gap is exactly what we're going to explore. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics, the blueprint for a good sleep environment that works for everyone. Then we'll look at the common things that totally sabotage our rest. After that, we'll get specific, diving into the unique challenges for ADHD and autistic brains. And finally, we'll uncover a really surprising connection in our bodies that kind of ties it all together. All right, let's start with the foundation. Before we even get into the crazy complexities of our internal body clocks, we have to get our external environment right. I'm talking about building your own personal sleep sanctuary. It's step one, and it's something every single one of us has control over. Now, these might look like simple little tweaks, but trust me, they are backed by some serious science. Research shows that common colors like blue or green can actually send signals to your brain that it's time to chill out. A fan or a white noise machine? That's your shield against annoying, disruptive sounds. And that perfect temperature? Well, that's not just about being cozy. It's pure biology. And here is the why behind that cool room. See, your body is literally hardwired to associate a drop in its core temperature with sleep time. It's an ancient signal. So by keeping your room cool, you're basically giving your body this powerful, natural cue that says, hey, it's time to power down, making it way easier to drift off. Okay, so you've built the perfect sleep cave. It's cool, it's dark, it's quiet. But what happens when we unknowingly invite these little sleep saboteurs into our evening routine? Let's unmask a few of the most common culprits that can undo all of our hard work. A nightcap. It seems like such a good idea, right? I mean, alcohol is a depressant, so it makes you feel drowsy and can help you fall asleep faster. But, and this is a huge but, it's what happens next that matters. As your body starts to process it, your brain goes into this rebound mode. It overcompensates with stimulant activity, and that is exactly why you might pop wide awake at 3 a.m. wondering what's going on. And then we have the modern wrecking crew, our beloved screens and nicotine. That blue light from your phone or your tablet, it's literally telling your brain to slam the brakes on producing melatonin, the go-to-sleep hormone. It's like shouting, hey, it's noon, right before you want to go to bed. And nicotine? Well, that's just a straight-up stimulant, and how long it keeps you buzzing can be totally different from one person to the next. But here's the really good news. You can make a change, and you can make it fast. Just look at this. Research shows that just 1 week of cutting back on evening screen time can help you fall asleep a whole 20 minutes earlier. That is a massive return on a pretty simple investment, don't you think? Okay, now let's start digging into how all this applies to different types of brains. Because for anyone out there with ADHD, I'm sure you know the phrase, just go to bed earlier is, well, famously unhelpful. And there's a very real biological reason for that. This isn't about willpower, it's about wiring. This right here is the key. A whole lot of people with ADHD have what's known as delayed sleep phase syndrome. Put simply, their internal clock, their circadian rhythm, is literally running on a different time zone. It's often shifted 2, 3, even 4 hours later than what's typical. So when the world is saying, hey, it's bedtime, their body is screaming, nope, it's the middle of the afternoon. I really want to pause on this quote because it is so important. This isn't about a failure to relax or not being able to shut off your thoughts. It's about being physiologically, biologically awake when society says you should be asleep. That energy, that alertness, it's a real biological signal. It is not a choice. And what happens is this vicious cycle. The struggle to squeeze a delayed clock into a 9-to-5 world leads to constant sleep deprivation. And that sleep deprivation just pours gasoline on ADHD symptoms, making them way more challenging to manage. The takeaway here is that tackling sleep isn't just about feeling less tired, it's a critical part of managing ADHD itself. All right, let's shift gears now and turn our focus to the autistic experience of sleep. For autistic individuals, the main challenges often come down to two really important things: managing sensory input and the deep, profound need for predictability and routine.
For an autistic person, the world can feel like a sensory minefield. That tiny tag on your pajama shirt, the little blinking light from a charger, the hum of the refrigerator from the kitchen, these things that others might not even notice can be massive roadblocks to sleep. That's why a predictable, calming routine is so incredibly vital. It's like a buffer against the chaos, it signals safety. But there's another huge factor at play here, the bone-deep exhaustion from just navigating a neurotypical world all day.
And that exhaustion has a name: autistic burnout. It's what happens after years of the constant energy drain from masking or trying to camouflage autistic traits just to fit in. This is so much more than feeling tired. It's a deep, long-term state of exhaustion that just wipes out the very resources you need to fall asleep and stay asleep.
So what actually helps? While the strategies are really concrete and empowering, a sleep diary can help you become a detective and find hidden patterns. A portable bedtime ritual, like maybe listening to the same song or using a specific hand lotion, can create a sense of calm and consistency even when you're not at home. And this is crucial. Managing your energy during the day is a sleep strategy for the night.
Okay, so we've talked about our environment, our habits, and our neurotype. But there's one more piece to this sleep puzzle, and it's a physiological one that researchers are just now starting to fully understand. It's a surprising link, deep inside our biology.
So what is this mystery connection? Well, a major 2024 study uncovered a really powerful link between iron levels and the exact sleep struggles we've been talking about in both ADHD and autistic individuals. This chart really tells the story. A key finding from the study was that kids with ADHD had double the odds of having restless leg syndrome. And if you've ever had that creepy crawly, gotta move your legs feeling, you know it makes falling asleep basically impossible. And RLS is a condition known to be linked to how the brain uses iron. So here's the bottom line. Low iron, even if it's not full-blown anemia, was flagged as a major risk factor for sleep problems in these kids, and if they had a family history of iron deficiency, that risk was even higher. This points to a potential biological pathway that could be a huge piece of the sleep puzzle for many people.
All right, let's bring it all home. For absolutely everyone, step one is mastering your environment. Make it cool, dark, and quiet. For the ADHD brain, the game changer is learning to work with your body's clock, not fighting it. For the autistic brain, creating that bubble of routine and sensory comfort is everything. And for all of us, it's a huge insight to remember that what's happening in our body, things like our iron levels, can have a massive impact on our brain and our sleep.
So in the end, maybe the struggle for sleep isn't a sign that you're broken or you're failing. Maybe it's just a set of signals. Instead of asking, why can't I sleep? Maybe the real question is, what is my brain trying to tell me it needs to finally get some rest?